Hi, this is Amy Romeo from the jewelry making and craft blog, amyromeo.com, and on this channel I share fun and easy jewelry making and craft projects. Today in this video I'll be showing you how to use the Cricut Foil Transfer Kit with the Cricut Joy to foil and cut faux leather earrings. If you have a Joy and you're always looking for new ideas like I am, beyond cards and labels and stickers, you're going to love cutting and foiling faux leather earrings with your Joy. So I can't wait to show this project to you. I've designed 3 earring SVGs for you to try. They're free on my blog, and I'll let you know how you can get those and craft along with me. So let's get started. Let's go over the tools and materials I'll be using to make foiled faux leather earrings with the Cricut Joy. So besides the Cricut Joy, you'll also need the Cricut Joy Foil Transfer Kit. This is specially designed and sized for the Joy. So if you have the Foil Transfer Kit for the Maker or the Explorer machines, unfortunately this one will not work. You need to get this one. This one has one foiling tip. It's in a medium line thickness, where the one for the larger machines has 3 different tips. But honestly, I find that this tip works great, especially for foiling on faux leather, and you're not going to miss the other sizes, especially for this particular project. Inside the kit also they have some gold and some silver foil sheets, and also the little adhesive stickers that we'll be using to place the foil onto the material. If you wanted to get some other colors of foil, Cricut sells these great little packages with an assortment of different foil colors as well. So with foiling, you want to keep in mind that the foiling is very intricate and detailed. It's a light effect. It's not very powerful or bold. So I like to have some contrast between the foil color and the material color. So I'll be using the gold and silver foils that come in this package, and I'll be using some darker faux leathers so that the foil color really pops. It's almost fall time when I'm recording this video. Summer's coming to an end, so I bought some nice dark fall colors in this faux leather, and I just wanted to let you know they also have a lot of different light colors too. The key with this faux leather, and I'll link to where I get this from Amazon and all the other supplies, is this faux leather is smooth. The key to getting a good foil effect on faux leather is using smooth faux leather. If you try to foil onto genuine leather, it's not going to work. If you try to foil onto pebbled or textured faux leather, it's not going to work. So you don't have to get this faux leather obviously, but you do want a nice smooth faux leather without a lot of surface application, something like a heavy gloss. You don't want a lot of heavy texture on your faux leather, and then you'll be happy with the result. So I'll also be using the green cutting mat that comes with the Joy. It's not a purple mat, which is what I usually cut faux leather with, but if the mat is if the green mat is nice and sticky and new, it's gonna cut really well even though it's not a purple mat. And to protect my mat from the back fuzzies of the faux leather, I'll be using some Cricut strong grip transfer tape, and I'll show you how I do that. I'll also be using my weeding tool and some small curved scissors to trim up any fuzzies on the faux leather. And to make the earrings, I will use a 1/16 inch hole punch to punch the holes, and then I'll use 2 pair of flat nose pliers, some jump rings, and some earring hooks to finish off the project. Again, I'll have all these supplies for you linked in the description. And let me show you how to get the SVG file for the 3 earring designs I created for you from my free resource library on my blog. And then I'll show you how to install the foil tip, and we'll get started making these earrings. I created 3 pretty foiled faux leather earring SVGs for you to use with the Cricut Joy, and they're in my resource library. Let me show you how you can grab them. You'll want to visit amyromeo.com, and from the top menu bar you will see the resource library. If you already have the password, you'll enter there and enter the password. You'll be looking for design number 183, foiled faux leather earrings for the Cricut Joy. If you don't already have a password, then you'll want to click on Get a Password. Let me know what email address I should send the password to. You'll get it right away, and you'll just return here to the library. Once you're in the library, you will follow the directions there, which will tell you that you need to click on a bold link, and it will download the SVG file to your device. You will need to unzip the SVG file before you can go ahead and upload it to Cricut Design Space. So in Cricut Design Space, we'll want to upload the unzipped SVG file you downloaded from my resource library. So click on New Project, then Upload, and Upload Image, and you'll browse to where the unzipped SVG file is. You'll click on it, and that will bring it here into your recently uploaded row. And click on it to select it, and then click Insert Images. And this will bring the 3 earring shapes I designed for you into Cricut Design Space. Now, you could cut all 6 of these earring shapes on one Cricut Joy mat, but for this video, I'm going to only cut 1 just to keep the video simple. So the first thing I want to do is ungroup all of the layers so that I can just come in here and delete the ones that we're not going to cut today. It's important that your machine selection up here at the top is the Joy, because all of the menus that appear after we press the Make It button need to be specific to the Joy. So if the Joy is not your machine here, hit this drop down menu and select that now. The next thing that we'll want to do is change the operations that Cricut has already assigned to these layers. So Cricut thinks that we want to cut each of these layers, but we want to foil a layer and cut a layer. So to do that, we'll click on the layer that says Basic Cut, and we will go up here to the Operation menu and click Foil. And you can also change the color of the foil. I'll just pick anything. It doesn't matter what color you choose. Your actual foil sheet will determine your foil color, but this just makes it a little easier to see. So I'll repeat that for the other earring, select Foil, and make it a little more visible. The last thing that we need to do before we move on is we need to attach the foil layer and the cut layer on each earring. That way the Joy will cut and foil in the appropriate places and not just place the operations on the mat wherever the space is most efficient. So what I'll do to do that is I will select both layers of one earring, and you can see here, you can either do that by dragging a box around both layers on one earring, or you could select the 2 layers here in the Layers panel, and then I'll just click Attach. And I'll do that for this side. I'll show you the other way. So I'm just clicking on the 2 layers here. Oh, sorry, these ones. Click on the 2 layers and then click Attach. And I'm not going to adjust the sizing on these. I've already sized these appropriately for you. And remember, there's no earring hole because we're going to punch them manually. I'm just going to confirm again that the Joy is the machine, and then I will click Make It. And we'll be cutting faux leather on a mat, so I will select on a mat. If you're not seeing this how to choose your materials option, it's because the Joy was not selected as your machine. So you'll have to go back and make sure you've got that set up correctly. Click Done. If you don't see what I have here, which is the foil layer perfectly aligned to the cut layer, it's because you didn't attach those layers. So again, watch out for that. So what I want to do is drag these down to the middle of my canvas, and I'll show you why I do that when I prepare the mat. You don't need to mirror this cut or the foiling, and just go ahead and click Continue. And you may be prompted to select your Joy again. And here, if you watch my videos, you know that my preferred faux leather setting is faux leather paper thin, but that's not an option in this particular setup, and that's fine. So what we will do is click Browse All Materials, and Cricut recommends if you don't see your preferred material, look for something comparable. So I've been using this heavy cardstock setting, and click Done. And I always like to use more pressure when I cut faux leather, so I will select More. Then Cricut Design Space is prompting you to load the foil tip, prepare your mat, and load it in. So I will walk you through all those steps, and then we'll get these earrings cut. So we've set up the design in Cricut Design Space, and now it's time to set up the Cricut Joy with the foil tip. So I've opened up the foil kit box, and inside you have a package of adhesive little stickers. They look like thin labels, and you also have your little foil sheets. There's gold and silver in here. I've already trimmed mine down to the size of my material, so I can save this for later. I'm going to put this aside, and then you have the foil tip. You have the tip, and you have the housing. So the way this works is you push down the plunger. Let me turn this around, and you just pop the tip in, and then I'm not sure if you could see that, and then you depress the tip and it pulls you depress the plunger and it pulls the tip back in. And then here we're just going to open the little door here, take out the blade, and pop in the foil tip. We'll set that aside because we need that next. So I looked in Cricut Design Space in the little mat preview, and I saw what size faux leather I need to cut so that my teardrop shapes will cut completely. So this is the size that I have, and normally I place faux leather face down on the mat, and that protects the mat from getting all these little fuzzies stuck to it. But because we're foiling, we need to place this material fuzzy side down. So I'm going to protect my mat first with some Cricut Strong Grip transfer tape. And again, I've cut a piece just slightly larger than the material that I'm going to be cutting and foiling. I'm going to peel off this backing. And what we want to do is place this on the mat where your faux leather will go, sticky side up. Okay, so this part's sticky. It's basically replicating the sticky mat surface, but adding a layer of protection. So now I'll take my faux leather, and I need to look at my mat preview screen again to see where to line this up. And it looks like it's below the 2. Let me go this way with it. So in the mat preview, it shows a little image of the mat, and you're basically just looking for the lines and where to line it up. Okay. And you know what? I want to move it up a little, because when you're foiling these white adhesive labels and the foil and everything, you need a little extra room around your cut to make sure it comes out nicely. So here's that piece of foil that I cut. So this is the shiny side, and the dull side is what is going to go down on to your material. Just so you know, this is extremely, it transfers very easily. It will get stuck to your sticky mat. It will get stuck to the sticker on the package. You need to be really careful that nothing sticky touches this surface. So I'm going to turn it over and cover my material. And this transfer tape again protects your mat from getting foil stuck on it too. And these little adhesive strips are great because they are reusable. So I'm just gonna peel one off, and I want to tape down the foil to the faux leather to the mat. And you wanna keep this as smooth as possible. You don't want to avoid, you want to avoid wrinkles. It's not an exact science. Now, remember I told you I wanted to move my shapes down here instead of up in this top corner? That's because the Joy is going to foil the faux leather first, and then we will have to remove the foil and all of these adhesive tapes so that the Joy can cut. And if we've got all this tape up here in this top corner of the mat, it's very hard to take it off because the mat will be loaded into the Joy, and we can't unload the mat in the middle of this two-step process. So if you place your items down lower, then you'll be able to remove your tape and your foil more easily in between steps. So here we are, we're set up. We're gonna go ahead and load that into the machine. And with the Joy, Design Space gives us all of our prompts, so you'll want to have your Design Space nearby. And I'm just going to press go. So the foiling is complete and we don't want to unload the mat. Now we need to do the second step, which is the cutting. And Design Space is letting us know that it's important, do not unload the mat, and it's telling us to remove the foil and to change the blade. So again, see how this little guide here is under here? If we had the tape and the foil up here, it's a lot more difficult to remove. So I'm just going to gently peel up these adhesive labels because I want to be able to use them again. The little pack that comes with the foil transfer kit, the little pack of foil, it seems small, but it's surprisingly full of lots of foil. So let me take this off here and set it aside. And we'll also remove that one. There we go. And we need to change out the blade. A lot of people ask if you can reuse this foil again, and you can't because the foil that's on the backing here has been transferred through pressure onto the faux leather. So the foil is gone. These little tiny pieces you could potentially use again, but it's not really worth keeping a small sheet like that. So let's just swap out the blade here. Take out the foil transfer tip, pop back in the blade, and press go again on Design Space. So now that the cut's complete, we can go ahead and unload the mat. Now normally on the Maker or the Explorer Air 2 or even on the Joy, you can repeat the faux leather cut, but when it's a two-step process like this where you're foiling and cutting, repeating the cut doesn't seem to be an option. So again, if you're using this kind of smooth faux leather, you should be able to have a nice clean cut and not worry about repeating the cut. So I'm just going to remove the excess. Remember, we have the transfer tape here protecting the mat. And what I'm going to do is just gently peel this up off of the mat. And all of the stickies on the back of these earrings will be stuck to the transfer tape and not the mat. So there's one. These mats are very sticky, so you want to be careful when you're pulling off the faux leather. And I'll take care of that later. So here are the two earrings cut. What I'm going to do now is use my little small curved scissors, and I will flip this over and trim up any little fuzzies. And then I'll show you how we punch the holes and attach the earring hooks. So I've gone ahead and used the curved scissors to trim up any little fuzzies on the back of the earrings. And now I'm just going to attach the earring hooks and punch the holes. So I use a 1/16 inch hole punch. If you watch my videos, you've seen me do this a lot. It helps me get the hole exactly where I want it to be, and it works just like any other hole punch. You just line it up and punch. Sometimes the little hole gets stuck to the back. I'm gonna repeat on this one. I wanted to mention I didn't put anything on the back of these earrings, again, because I wanted to keep the video simple, but I do have a video on 4 different ways to put a back on faux leather earrings. So if you did want to put foil on the back or another layer of faux leather, I'll link to that video for you so you can check it out. So here I've already turned the earring hooks, which I do so the earrings will hang straight. I have an entire video on how to make your earrings hang straight by turning this little loop, and I will link to that for you. I've already done that here. So I'm just going to use my 2 pliers to open up these jump rings and attach the earring hook. You always want to make sure your earring hook is going the right direction. And close it up. I've got the little part of the hole there. There's one. So if you liked this foil earring project, I do have another video on making foiled earrings with the Maker and the Explorer, and there's two really pretty designs also in my library for that video. So if you want to watch that video and get those designs as well, then you'll have 5 foiled earring designs to play with on any of the machines. So there you have it. If you try this foiling using the Cricut Joy, please let me know. I would love to know if you like it, what you made. A lot of people ask about if the foil rubs off. I haven't found that to be a problem, but you could always spray these before you put the hardware on with a sort of fixative spray like a Krylon or some other kind of very light sealant, and that will help keep the foil on longer. I haven't had a problem with it, but that's just a suggestion you might want to try. And if you like this video, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I have lots of other jewelry making and crafting videos that I think you'll love. And thanks for watching.